Good evening. My name is Rachel Lemieux. I manage the corporate marketing at MyAdvice and here to welcome you to our webinar, Revolutionizing Your Business, Digital Strategies for PMU Success and SEO Mastery. Excuse me, it is 6 o'clock here in Salt Lake City and my tongue is not working anymore. Our presenter today is Rehan Ahmad. He's a practice growth director here at MyAdvice. Been working in the digital marketing space for the last 10 years with aesthetics companies, with PMU businesses, with dental and medical and legal practices, all you name it, he's worked with them. He has extensive experience in helping his clients in their website design and SEO strategies, helping to grow hundreds of clients' reach and increase their revenue. Rehan did an Instagram Live back in March that you may have seen on the PMU Con feed, as well as attended part of the PMU Con event last month. So, just some quick housekeeping before we jump in. We're going to save all the questions for the end. Please, though, ask them during the event and just put them in the chat or the Q&A, and I'll be monitoring that as we go. And then you'll see an email from me, Rachel, tomorrow with the recording, a copy of the slides, and anything else that we talk about. So just in case you miss anything, you want to share with a coworker, we totally encourage that. And now I will turn it over to Rehan.
Thank you, Rachel. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Rachel, for that introduction, and thank you to PMU Con for letting us host this webinar. And thank you for everybody who's joining me, excuse me, this evening on this webinar. And welcome to Revolutionizing Your Business, Digital Strategies for PMU Success and SEO Mastery. Again, my name is Rehan, and I'm a Director of Practice Growth and Digital Solutions here at MyAdvice. I'm excited to have this conversation with you guys today. I'm hoping it will be very insightful for you and really help you in your overall digital marketing strategy, or at least get you thinking about a strategy if you already don't have one. So I'll be throwing a lot of information at you, and so hopefully we'll have some time at the end for questions. If not, you'll have a chance to book a free 60-minute consultation with me at the end of this presentation with a QR code, and you'll have all my information at the end of the presentation as well. So before we jump into things, just some background on MyAdvice as a company, right? We're a full digital marketing agency that serves all of North America. We've been around for over 20 years. We're based out of Utah. We serve 3,800 plus clients per month. We're a Google verified partner and a repeat 5,000 company. So jumping into this presentation, initially I was going to start off by presenting to you an overall digital marketing strategy to enhance your PMU business to build proper lead flow and conversion. And we'll still be getting to that, but recently I've had a lot of clients come to me asking me about SEO, why it isn't working as well, why is their overall traffic and conversion down, what's changed, right? So now SEO is a term I'm sure most of us have heard of, and it's a great buzzword when it comes to marketing. But for those of you that have not, SEO stands for search engine optimization, which is basically any strategy that will help you rank higher in the search engine results pages, right? So we're going to skip and talk about SEO first, because again, there have been some major changes to online algorithms regarding SEO and overall strategy, which has and will affect every part of your online digital presence, from your website to paid ads. I think it's a very important conversation to have right now in terms of staying ahead of the game when it comes to your digital marketing strategy, and because of all the major changes that have taken place. So a little more background. Since about 1.5 years now, things have taken a major shift, and the majority has had to do with AI, which has been another big trend and buzzword, which I'm sure most of you have heard of, or maybe even have used AI like ChatGPT. And how this technology is and will affect our day-to-day lives, and especially the shift it's caused in tech. Because of that, digital marketing strategies have also had a major impact. Have had a major impact on how things have been adapting. And so just for a little more background, for example, most small to medium-sized businesses have seen some sort of drop in their SEO strategy, right? And online traffic. So Google itself has done a lot in the last 2 years to adapt to this new shift with AI, right? And it will be very important for businesses to also adapt to this new shift in terms of digital marketing strategy. Otherwise, things could really start to fall apart. Hence why businesses are seeing an overall decline in SEO and traffic, and why I get this question a lot. So we want to specifically talk about Google because they are the king of search engines and algorithms. And at the end of the day, that is who we are trying to please. Even if you're on social media, doing paid ad, it all ties in. Google has some very complex algorithm that it's constantly making changes to adapt to this new tech and strategies, right? Most of the changes that Google makes daily, monthly, and yearly, they don't have any dramatic impacts to businesses. But every so often, it does make updates that can be very disruptive and have huge impacts. Those are the updates we want to pay attention to and adapt to. So in recent years, we've had a few of those disruptive updates, like the Panda update, the Medic update, and now we're currently seeing 3 of these major updates on the Google platform in the last year. And in terms of how your site ranks and how you show up in search, a lot has changed because of those updates. So we really want to pay close attention to this. So the digital marketing strategy that we've employed for years at MyAdvice has been very successful for our clients and adaptable. And that is the pyramid of success that you see here on this slide. Because of this strategy, we've been ahead of the curve when it comes to most of Google's algorithm updates, because this is what Google wants to see in a strategy. And it's very easy to tweak as updates happen because all of the major foundational aspects are already there. So we're going to dive deeper into this strategy a little bit later, but I wanted to show you this to get you thinking about how the updates I talk about next will play into this strategy in the long run. So let's dive into what has changed. So Google's most recent and most disruptive update is called the helpful content update. So what is the helpful content update, right? Let's put it this way. How often have you Googled a question or topic and clicked through several links before you found what you were looking for, right? Or maybe you never found the information you were looking for, you just kept scrolling down, right? Super frustrating. So Google's new helpful content update aims to solve this problem, right? The search engine wants to weed out content that ranks high with little value to users, right? The goal is to better match users with high quality content that delivers a satisfying experience. This is also Google's answer into how to combat low quality, repetitive content built by AI instead of written by humans. So essentially what it's doing is the update targets low quality content marketing for search engines, not people. Now, you've probably heard the phrase before, content is king, and that's still true. But because of AI, that content can now be very easily produced without much thought or effort, right? And many times not even be unique. And unique high quality content is very, very important when it comes to content strategy. It's really taking a topic and getting very specific and granular and making sure we're trying to answer a user specific question. Focusing on this strategy, right, will help for you to continue to rank very well and have well-performing SEO strategy. For example, let's say I want to create some content on microblading, right? I can very easily right now go to ChatGPT and ask it to create some article on it that it can spit out in less than 5 minutes, right? The problem with that is though that content isn't unique and it will not rank very well. It might not even be accurate. And because of that, right, it isn't very user specific in a question and answer type of structure. And it will be created more for internet bots to crawl and find rather than human users, right? Because the user experience to Google is very, very important. And the reason why ranking is so important is because it directly correlates with how much traffic you can get, which helps to drive more visibility for the business or practice, right? So based on some research we recently did, we can see that just by moving up one spot in the search results can increase site traffic by 31%. It's a huge leap. This is why a well-performing SEO strategy is so important, right? Because it can increase your traffic, which will then convert to great leads. So overall, right now, Google is encouraging creators to prioritize people over search engines with every piece of content they create. So this update shows that it's not just about keyword optimization strategy anymore, right? We hear a lot about keyword strategy. And it's not about just writing content for bots to crawl and rank either. It's now more about writing content for people to be specific to their needs, to make sure, excuse me, to make sure questions are being answered on a very specific level on a certain topic. When it came to SEO before, Google was looking at sites as more of a whole than a page-by-page basis. But now one of the biggest changes is that even if one page does not rank well in terms of content and overall strategy, then that whole site's ranking can take a hit. The content Google is going after lacks experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. The acronym EAT, which we'll talk about more in a bit. A search engine first article not written for humans, it may rank high in search engine results pages, right? And get a lot of search traffic, but it doesn't answer the user's questions. It leaves them wanting more and forces them to keep clicking. To implement the new update, Google started running a site-wide ranking signal, right? It classifies websites with unhelpful content. This update doesn't refresh every once in a while, right? It's an ongoing to encompass existing and new websites. It's an automated process, uses machine learning model, which of course is AI. So Google has said that if the new signal classifies your website as unhelpful, right, recovery won't be swift. Ranking updates could take months after you remove unhelpful content or improve your content writing for Google, right? But that's very important. So your ranking doesn't just shoot right back up. This could cause a major shift to your overall traffic to the site and disrupt your overall SEO strategy. So what can you do to adapt to all these changes that are happening, right? Well, like I said, we want to focus on two acronyms. One of them is EAT, which we just talked about, which stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. The other one is called YMYL, your money, your life. And we'll get into that as well, right? So EAT is part of Google's search quality rater guidelines, right? It's the handbook that real people are using to evaluate the quality of search results. Google wants to serve results with strong EAT. So it's an important concept in SEO. Plus, high EAT can improve user trust and lead to more conversions on your site. Because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing, right? What we're trying to do, which is convert leads into patients or clients. The other acronym is YMYL, your money, your life. This refers to pages on a site that could potentially impact a person's future happiness, health, financial options, or safety. So this definitely applies to PMU practices because of the services and procedures that are offered. So let's dive a little deeper into each part of EAT, right? Starting with experience. Experience was added by Google in December of 2022 as a way to gauge how much credibility the author of a piece of content has. So writers who have experience, for example, with a topic would be someone who's reviewing a product who genuinely has used it, or a journalist who covers a topic frequently. They're all considered to have a lot of experience, right? Expertise probably seems very similar to experience, and it is. In fact, these two terms are used interchangeably by Google. So life experience can make someone an expert, but formal training and winning awards in a field are certainly considered expertise as well. So if you have certifications for your PMU business and whatnot, that will be considered expertise. The difference between the two becomes especially important when you're publishing YMYL content. Remember, your money, your life, which Google considers best left to the experts. If you're offering advice on topics that fall under this category, you want to make sure your website clearly demonstrates that you know what you're talking about and are qualified to do so to speak on the subject. The next part of that EAT acronym is going to be authoritativeness, right? Authoritativeness looks at the site, the author, and the organization as a whole, zooming out a bit, right? For example, do well-regarded businesses link to you? Are you considered an authority on the subject? For example, an article on abdominal pain from WebMD, right? Let's take that as an example, is authoritative. Why? Because WebMD is a well-known publication for medical advice, right? The authors, which are usually WebMD editorial contributors, are wellness professionals. They ask an expert, usually a doctor, to check their content for accuracy, right? So ideally, other authorities in your industry link to your content, right? Because it provides value. In other words, people know you, they know your background, and look to you as a leader in your industry. They're accepting you as a good source of information. The last part of EAT is trustworthiness. This is the most important part, and one of the things that Google focuses on the most when it comes to SEO. It zooms out even further to look at each of these components, plus more technical components of a website that indicate trustworthiness, such as secure socket layer, that stands for SSL certification, that's indicating that a website can handle sensitive information, as well as more abstract concepts like how a company responds to reviews, what's being said about it in online discussions about it as a brand, and as well as overall user experience. Now, coming back to the pyramid of success that I showed you in the beginning, right? Again, at MyAdvice, we've always kind of been ahead of the curve, being a verified Google partner and using our pyramid of success strategy that you see on this slide. This strategy that we've been using for many successful clients ensures that you stay ahead of the game and get the best ROI, right? The goal is to spend wisely on a strategy and still get the best ROI. With this strategy, we work from the bottom up, starting with the website, which is the foundation of the strategy, right? Business owners are constantly coming to me and telling me that I've spent a ton of ads on Google, Facebook, Instagram, and have a great social media page, but I'm still not getting results. Well, those strategies are great when executed at the right time, but the foundation has to be built to make sure that those strategies in the future are effective and work. The other failure point we see, and that comes across a lot, is the lack of involvement or communication with the business's marketing company. We hear that clients can't get in touch with their support team or marketing coaches. And many times when they do, it's actually the business owner telling the marketing company what to do, not the other way around, right? It's a little nuts. In today's market, you have to have a partner, not a vendor, right? And that's what we are at MyAdvice, which makes a big difference. Even in our name, MyAdvice, that is what we are doing. We are advisors guiding and leading you to choose the right strategies for your business to succeed. So let's dive into this pyramid of success strategy. Again, we start with the foundation, which is the website, right? The stronger the foundation, the stronger the strategy. I always come back to this house analogy that if you're building a house, you would want a strong foundation. Otherwise, the rest of the house is weak or would collapse, right? And you definitely wouldn't start it with the roof. The same is true here, right? So we start with the foundation, which is the website. It's going to be the nucleus for everything you do, for your marketing, and of course for your SEO, right? And first impressions are everything. We are trying to create a high-end first impression and trust with the website before your clients ever walk through the door, right? And based on this, based on this statistic from WebFX, 94% of first impressions relate to the design of your website. That's a huge number. And on this next slide, you'll see that obviously the website is the face of your business, right? And based on our research, 48% of people cited a website's design as the #1 factor in determining the credibility of a business. So what does my website need, right? What do you need to rank? So Google ranks you Google ranks you very high on proper organization of content on a site with a proper sitemap and navigation. We want to make sure it's as frictionless and as easy as possible for a person to navigate that site. Mobile friendly, right? Because we're on mobile devices now than ever before. And again, you're being ranked on this as well. We want to make sure that the website is performing like it should on a mobile device with mobile responsive technology, just like it would on a desktop. And it shows up properly on a phone or tablet, and all the functions are working properly, right? Good content, Q&A style content on every page. We want to make sure we're having a proper content structure. A strong about us page, very important because Google's using this for establishing trustworthiness, again, when it comes to the EAT acronym, before clients ever come to you. Backlinks are, again, other sites of authority in your niche that link back to your site, giving you more trust and credibility. So all of these are very, very important to drive good quality traffic and ranking to your site, right? And again, your website is how you establish trustworthiness in EAT. So this is a survey we did. This is a survey we did where we polled around 450 people, all that went to a different type of provider in the aesthetics world within the last year. And we wanted to see what aspects of a provider's site helps people trust providers more. So you can see the first one is easy to reach out and make an appointment, right? So what that means is you have to have easy to see and available book now buttons, contact forms, phone number links, etc., right? The next was pictures and bios of providers. This is going to be super important in ranking and trust factor for both the client and Google, right? And again, the rest of these are all being ranked as factors in Google search criteria. So clean website design, patient testimonials, right? Client testimonials, blogs, posts, content, quick website speed, right? Again, we'll come to blog posts as well, because that's also a very important part of SEO strategy that I want to talk about later. So the next part of this strategy in the pyramid is going to be local listings, right? They're also called local SEO or NAP score, and that stands for name, address, phone number, right? Even though much more than that is involved, right? This is probably the most important thing you can do after your website. These will be what affect all the near me and local searches done on Google by people, right? So when somebody's doing a near me search for certain treatments that a PMU service, PMU business offers, or looking for a PMU business, this is what affects that. I tell clients before they ever focus on any higher SEO like blogs, backlinks, or paid ads, they need to focus on this, especially if they're a brick and mortar business that offers on-site services, right? This works hand in hand with your Google My Business page, which, by the way, if you're a business and don't have a Google My Business page or haven't claimed yours, please do yourself a favor and do it as soon as you can. It's free. It's a very easy way to get a lot of extra points with Google, and it gets you more trust in ranking. And at MyAdvice, we can definitely help you set one up if you're having trouble with that. So what does my local search need, right? How does this all work, right? Years ago, Google realized it hating losing traffic to other directories on the internet, but it also didn't want to be in the directory business. So it created the Google My Business page, right? The way this all works is that Google is assuming all your information that you put about your practice or business is correct on the Google My Business page. It then cross-references that information against other important and relevant directories based on your business category, like Yelp, MapQuest, Apple Maps, Android, YellowPages.com, etc. And if that information doesn't match up, then you start getting deranked in search results and you don't show up properly. And unfortunately, this is not a one-time thing. It's a pay-to-play scheme, right? The information, if you don't manage this, the information can revert back or change to that old incorrect information that's out there, if not constantly monitored by software and people. So why does this all matter for SEO, right? Tying this back to SEO, your local search profiles are important backlinks for your website, and they contribute to the trustworthiness signals of your website as a whole, right? Local search is important for SEO and vice versa. And again, local search is also a huge contributor to your authoritativeness for EAT, right? So on this next slide, you see a scan that we did for local listings, right? To see how they compare and how they come up, right? So this is for veil, skin, and lashes, right? And you're not looking at, this is just a small snippet of all the directories that we cover. At MyAdvice, we're covering 65 plus directories and 15 relevant apps to make sure that you are found on all of them with all the correct information, right? So you can see, for example, on Yahoo, veil, skin, and lashes, they show up properly. They're all check marked off. Same thing with Bing, same thing with Facebook, same thing with Yelp, same thing with MapQuest. But now, as you start to go further down, you'll see that in city search, their listing is not found, right? Easy Local, listing not found. Merchant Circle, listing not found. On local.com, it's the wrong information, right? You're probably wondering to yourself, oh, why do I need to be on these directories? I've never heard of city search or local.com or Merchant Circle or Easy Local. These are directories being used in the background for search by Google and other search engines every day to verify you, to make sure you're a relevant business, right? So if you don't show up on these, or you're missing information on these, and Google's using these directories to cross-reference that information when somebody's searching in your area, you start getting deranked in the listings. And some of these directories have been around a lot longer than Google has. This next slide just shows how Google is determining your local ranking, right? There's three important factors here: prominence, relevance, and distance, right? All of this determines local SEO, right? And all of these are very important factors. And we'll come back to this when we talk about reviews in a couple of slides. This next slide is super, super important, right? 86% of your local search results are influenced by actively correcting, maintaining, and updating your local search listings. What that means is that consistency is key in managing your business listings, right? And I want to quickly take you here and show you another page of what's happening, of where people are clicking, right? And this is information from Google. So this will kind of give you an idea of why local listings are so important, right? Because it's important to see where people are clicking, right? So this is a search that is for a plumber in Park City, right? So it's another near me search that somebody would perform, right? And you can see that right at the top of the Google My Business ads. Those are always going to be at the top. Those are always the ones that are prominent, right? Google wants to show those all. You can see the click rate. Hopefully you can see this, and we'll email all of this information at the end as well. But you can see that this, if you look at this, the click rate is not that high. It's only 3.1% for the first ad, 2.7% for the second ad, and 2.5% for the third, right? Then as we move a little further down the page, you can see pay-per-click ads here, right? Pay-per-click ads, right? Again, click rate is pretty low, 2.1%, 1.6%. One of the reasons is that consumers have gotten a lot smarter. They know that the ads show up on top. They know these ads are being paid for, to be promoted. So they scroll further down, right? As you scroll further down, you see the local tab. These are those local listings that I was talking about. This is what affects these local listings showing up when we talk about the local power tool that we're talking about and the NAPSPO, etc. Right? So you can see the click rating is a lot higher. 17.8%, 15.4%, 15.1%. So these are what people are clicking on when you do a near me search for a business, right? And then as we go further, these are the organic results. These are the results that really get focused on when you talk about SEO, right? Again, 39.6%, 18.4% click rate, 10.1%, and it gets lower as you go down the page. But you can see compared to the ads, big difference. So going back to the next part of the strategy after local listings is going to be reviews, right? And reviews is super important, right? So one of the questions I get asked all the time is, do reviews matter for SEO? Absolutely, right? Google looks at what people are saying about your business and what factors it into trustworthiness, right? And again, reviews are another big contributing factor to your authoritativeness for EAT. Google puts so much importance on reviews that it has allocated 20% of its algorithm to it, right? That's a huge number for Google to focus on in their algorithm. And Google is looking for four things when it comes to reviews, right? It's looking at your score. It's looking at how many reviews you have. It's looking at the consistency of how often you're getting them. And most importantly, if you're answering them. That's right. Your responses matter too. And at the same time, you want to make sure generating more reviews means you have the opportunity to respond to the less than perfect ones. Because Google assumes you're going to get negative reviews. Reviews impact your prominence score, a ranking factor for local SEO. Remember I told you that slide before? Slide is back. So you can see more reviews equals more prominence. This is why this works hand in hand, right, as a sister product with local listings or local power and your Google My Business page. Now we get to social media in the strategy, right? I touched base on it a little bit before. So keep in mind, even though social media is super important in the overall strategy, it's not where you begin. And it's not definitely not what you want to be doing is running social media ads right away, like I'm hearing from a lot of people. I'm getting more and more clients that are running social media ads, but they're not getting any results, right? Again, remember, you don't own your content or distribution on social media like you do on your website. If they see fit, they can stop showing your content or flag you, whereas Google doesn't work on those same rules, right? And if a social media platform gets shut down, you've just lost all your content and hard work. Now, with that said, social media platforms are their own search engines nowadays. So they are still important in the strategy, right? Because Google is ranking for them. For example, Facebook is averaging 1.5 billion searches daily. That's a huge amount, right? Social media, such as Instagram, have become their own search engines. This is where people are staying longer and longer, trying to find all sorts of information on them. And that's what Instagram and Facebook want. They don't want you to leave their platform, right? The discussions people have about your business online on those platforms contribute to your trustworthiness metric, right? Creating content that people want to share and discuss on social media is difficult to measure from a direct impact standpoint, but Google says it's one of the things it's now measuring. And because Google's ranking for it now, we need to focus on that. And again, social media will contribute to the important signals to your authoritativeness for EAT. So, of course, because of that, we want to still employ that as a strategy. But again, it's not the first thing you focus on. Now we get into the higher part of the strategy of higher end SEO. Okay, this is that high end SEO. Keep in mind, everything we've been focusing on right now and still been doing from the website to social media is all still considered SEO. But this is that higher end SEO where you really want your ROI to pay off once you've done the foundational aspects of things, right? So content. Content is king, and Google loves content that is relevant and unique, right? What is some of that content? Blogs are one of the easiest ways to add new content and drive great quality traffic to your website. With blogs, you want to focus not on just keywords, but actual questions that people are searching for the internet based on the services you offer, and you build a blog around that, right? Well-written blog articles, again, are one of the easiest ways to add new content to your website, right? But we want to make sure that we have the proper content structuring, like we talked about before with that Q&A style, right? Again, it's not just about keywords anymore, and you don't want to be keyword stuffing, constantly repeating that keyword without it making much sense. That could get you blacklisted on Google. So what is the proper content structure? Cover the topic well, rather than being laser focused on a specific keyword. Again, try not to keyword stuff, but the keywords where they make sense. Content should answer users' questions. So again, Q&A format where possible. It should be well structured. It should be shorter, digestible, the proper header tags, right? You want to break it up with the proper images, the videos. Nobody wants to just read tons and tons of just text. You don't want that. You want to break it up properly. You can have social media integration, Instagram Reels, right? Facebook videos, YouTube videos, etc. Okay. You want to have location information where it makes sense to tag your location in there, whether it's a map, Google map embedded in there, wherever it makes sense. And then, of course, contextual links and related website links. The last part of that, the last part of the strategy, right, we finally come to is paid ads or pay-per-click. And this is the part of the strategy should always be to get the best ROI at the end, right? You want to make sure you've covered all your foundational aspects. You want to make sure that you've hit your SEO strategy first, and then you want to talk about pay-per-click. Because keep in mind, pay-per-click is a rich man's game, right? And you want to make sure that you leave this to the experts to get it right. Right? You want to get the best ROI with this, otherwise you're going to spend a lot of money. This is why we consider this really the icing on the cake, right? So what does all this mean for PPC, right? So keep in mind, 53% of all web traffic comes from organic search, everything that we've talked about before. Only 15% is coming from paid search. Remember, if you remember the page I showed you a couple of slides back, where it shows where people are clicking, you saw that, it was very, very low amount of click-through rate on the top where the ads were. But with that said, it can still be a great strategy when implemented properly, right? Because, right, SEO, organic SEO is admittedly slow. But over time, there's nothing better that beats that results based on these numbers, right? So what do you want to do when you want to think about PPC, right? PPC is all about a little bit of a faster result. PPC also takes time, but it'll be a little faster than SEO, right? And when it comes to PPC, what you want to think about is there one specific procedure or service you're wanting to acquire new clients for and focus on. This is the tool to use that for. This is what hones in on those ads that you can really focus on trying to get leads for when you're focusing on one type of service, right? It's going to improve your online visibility, right? By propelling you to the top of a Google search, right? No different than taking out an ad space within a billboard, right? Think of paid ads almost as your digital billboard, right? And again, it's going to increase new customer leads because of items 1 and 2 that we just talked about. But this is not a channel to just jump into not knowing what you're doing. Again, you want to leave this to the experts, otherwise you're going to be spending a lot of money. So going back to the pyramid here, I just want to do a quick review of everything that we've talked about, and again, how it all falls into the criteria of Google, especially when it comes to E. Remember, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness, right? So again, you can see that the website, right? With the website, we're building that trustworthiness. Again, high-end first impression, making sure we're building trustworthiness, not only for the user that comes to the site, but also with Google, right? The other 3 foundational aspects that we talked about, your local citations or local SEO, right? Your reviews and your social media, all build authoritativeness with the user as well as Google, right? And then when we get to SEO, that's what's going to build on your experience and expertise, right? The backlinks that you get, the blogs that you put on there, right? What you're talking about, that's going to build that experience and expertise, right? Under Google's criteria. And then obviously the icing on the cake that we talked about would be paid search. And, speaking of clients and, I want to show you some of the clients that we've dealt with and what our clients say about us, right? Again, our reviews and testimonials speak for themselves, as well as the work we've completed for our clients. We've been in this business for over 20 years, right? And we're trying to be a partner, not a vendor, right? Our clients stay with us an average of 7 to 8 years, if not longer. And you can see that our average rating based on 890 reviews was 92.6%. So our average rating is 4.91, which is a really good rating for us. Now, these next 3 slides that I want to talk about are going to be the pricing that we've set up. We've set up these specific pricing for PMU Con members till the end of the month, right? All the packages that we built, right, are packages that can help you succeed and build up your business, right? No matter where you are in your journey, right? Whether you have a budget of $200 a month or a couple of thousand a month, right? We deal with all sorts of clients. We deal with clients that have $200 to $400 a month budgets, all the way to tens of thousands of dollars a month, right? So our packages fit to every client need, right? And the prices that we have set up are specifically for PMU Con right now, these discounts that we've set up, right? And again, you get a chance to get all of this in an email to kind of go through this and kind of see where you fit in these packages. And again, I'm hoping that you'll take advantage and use a 60-minute free consultation and consult with me. We'll be happy to do a deep dive on your practice, on your strategy, and kind of see where you need to be and how to implement it and really help you grow. So really, that's the end of the presentation. I thank you for joining me. Right, I'm hoping you guys have some questions for me. I'm hoping this is my information here. I'm hoping you take advantage of this. The QR code will get you to a free consultation. Right, again, this is my cell phone and my email. So hopefully, we'll have some questions here, Rachel, and take it from there.
Yeah, thank you, Rohan. That was awesome. Super helpful. Yeah, everyone just keep putting some questions in the Q&A or the chat. Probably the Q&A is probably the easiest. So thank you all so much for attending tonight. Okay, let's see. I think you've covered a lot. You were really thorough. How often, let's see, one's coming in. How often should I redesign my website?
That's a great question, and I'm glad that was brought up. So, right now the rule of thumb is this, you should be redesigning your website aesthetically on the front end as well as updating it technologically on the back end every 2 years, right? This isn't like 20 years ago where you could build a website and walk away for a couple of years and it'd be fine. Because of the way things are happening, because technology is shifting so quickly, right? And Google's algorithms are changing so quickly, you want to make sure that you're updating those sites and managing them. Now, you can continue to tweak it a little and manage it, but really you want to update it every 2 years.
Perfect. And I'm just going to add a question on here. How should people know that their site is starting to decline? It's like time to start thinking about it.
So there's a handful of things, but the biggest thing is going to be, how your site is performing. Yeah, right. Is one of the biggest things is going to be, are you getting traffic to your site? Right? Is your traffic starting to fall off? Right there, and then you know that there's a lot of ranking factors that aren't in place anymore, right? Right. Another part of it will be, the aesthetics of the site, right? Is your site starting to look good aesthetically compared to other sites, right? The fonts need to be updated, things need to be updated aesthetically, not just technologically, right? Are you working well on a mobile responsive platform, right? For example, is your site performing well on your phone, on a tablet? Is it working like it should? These are all things that are, these are all things that are hints of it's time to update your site.
Perfect. That's super helpful. One more came in. How should I measure the success of my marketing?
So that's a great question. Measure the success of your marketing is, how well you do by conversion, right? Everything's about conversion, right? If you are not converting and getting leads to convert into actual clients walking through the door, you can do all the marketing in the world. It doesn't make sense. So conversion is really what we want to look at, right? And everything that I've just talked about helps you to convert those leads, right? We want to make sure it's not just about getting 1,000 in traffic on your website. That's just a vanity number, right? Sometimes getting 500 per month on your website in traffic versus 2,000 is sometimes better because that traffic actually is converting, right? We want to make sure we're targeting things geographically in the right categories for where you are, right? I don't care if I'm getting 1,000 in traffic nationally when you're a local business and let's say, Houston, Texas, right? That doesn't matter to you. We want to target that traffic to make sure that you are converting. So if you're not converting, then your marketing isn't doing well for you.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. What are your thoughts about paying for keyword ranking? Interesting.
Sorry, you cut out there, Rachel, for a second.
Sorry. Jennifer asked, what are your thoughts about paying for keyword ranking?
So again, that's when that higher end SEO comes in, right? And keyword ranking is great, but again, it's not just about keywords as I was talking about before. Keyword optimization and keyword strategy will always have a place, but now Google is looking at things a little bit differently, right? We want to employ those keywords and pay for those keywords, but again, you want to make sure you're answering the user's questions. So it's not just about keywords. How those keywords are placed in content, right? It will be just as important as paying for keywords, right? When you're bidding for those keywords. So you want to make sure your content employs those keywords in the right places when it comes to the content and making sure you do that Q&A structure to answer users' questions. Because again, that's this new helpful content update is weeding out all of that stuff that we talked about before, where it was just about keywords.
Yeah, just yes. Yes, we are. This helps anyone. We are working on this as well on the myadvice.com site. And I'm on the corporate side. So yes, this is all stuff that I am living and breathing right now. And I know that Rahan's literally helping us through some of it. So it's awesome. All right. Those are all the questions for tonight that we've got. Thank you all so much for attending. I know it's late depending on where you are, so we really appreciate it. You'll be seeing an email from myself, Rachel Lemieux, tomorrow, with the recording, with the slides. We'll make a PDF of these. I know they're a little small there. And then I'll send out all of Rahan's contact info. You can just respond to that email if you can't get a hold of him for some reason or nothing's just, I will make sure you get in touch with Rahan. And just thank you so much. Trust me, an hour of your time is worth it. And it will really help you guys grow over this next year. So thank you all very much. Have a great night and we will talk soon.
Have a good night. Bye.